from repeating itself. I mean, you have the power right now. You, as a white woman, as an owner, a First Avenue, yes, you do. You have so much power. No, I don't think that. I know that. I know that. I know you have a lot of power. You can say, I would like to delay this vote on behalf of the community, and you will be way more believable than you are right now.
Staring at the city.
Staring at the city.
Staring at the city.
Staring at the city.
And you staring at the city.
Hey, Staring at the City, what's up? It's GP Jacob, Jake Burton. I'm from Northeast Minneapolis. I feel like now more than ever is the time to be talking politics. People want to talk about it. You can't look away from it. It's a part of what we do, you know? So to me, it's like, how can we really seize this moment to push the envelope?
Who inspired you around you?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'd say like Tish Jones was one of like a life-changing inspiration for me, and just the community that was built around the Blue Nile open mic. Like, think about like Desdemona, Truth Mays, Kevin Washington. There's so many to name, you know what I'm saying? Shay Cage, E.G. Bailey, I Self Divine, Brother Ali, the whole Rhyme Sayers. I think in St. Paul, I listen to Taylor J a lot. I got into Taylor J this year because we're sitting in St. Paul right now. Bobby's making crazy music, you know. Bobby has always made crazy music, beautiful music. Like, we had Yoni Light at the show the other day. Yoni Light is really dope. Talk about multidisciplinary in so many different ways. That's crazy. Lioness, it get crazy. You know, I collaborated with the Lioness a lot this year, and the Lioness is making great music and is really inspiring. Mike, the whole Astro Black movement, you know what I'm saying? And like, thinking about, you go to an event, you see visual artist Jordan Hamilton, you see Mackenzie, you see Lady Midnight, crazy.
Can you tell me something about Audio Perm that maybe I don't know?
Man, I was, you know, in the Audio Perm. My brother was in the Audio Perm. There was originally a producer crew: DJ Tip, Taylor Madrigal, Corey Greenberg, Julian Fairbanks, Bobby Raps. Yeah, much love to everybody who was involved. It was cool.
And now it's off 10.
That's how we took it. Yeah, that's our stream, right? Off 10 Publications. 10. It's like really Off 10 is inspired by the 10 line, you know, that runs from downtown Minneapolis up Central Avenue through Northeast Minneapolis through Columbia Heights and Freely to the Northtown Mall. And to me, that represents hard work ethic, and just like, you know, movement that has that pulse of just the working poor community that I was raised in Northeast Minneapolis.
Grocery store when my grandma used to have it, tab knocked to the floor, they dropped a hammer on our habitat, used to be affordable. The youth started to grab up land, our former front porch. I watched drunk students gather rats, seen the story foretold. Developers see more dough, don't want to hear your thoughts. Democratic.
The other day I was at a show, and tell me, what was the venue at that I saw you at?
It was at Ladonia Cerveceria.
Okay, so we were at this show and you were talking about a group called Parks and Power. Can you kind of like repeat my question and then tell me what Parks and Power is?
Okay, so hell yeah, seen us at the Stay Awake Volume 5 Parks and Power campaign, hosted a show at Ladonia Cerveceria on Friday. The Parks and Power campaign is a citywide effort to bring racial and economic justice to the Minneapolis Park Board. The Park Board is an elected body. It's semi-autonomous from the city council. It's a nine-person elected body, and it controls $100 million. It's the largest property holder in the city of Minneapolis, so there's a lot of power there, a lot of land.
Tell me how organization mixes with your rap life.
To me, it's all one and the same, kind of. It's cultural work, you know? It's like, I started writing to talk about like my conditions. So to me, it's like I started doing political poems. And then after a while, it's like, all right, if you're just doing the poems and you're not doing anything else around it, it becomes corny, it becomes like a shtick. It's Jake Verdon, GP Jacob. We're in North Minneapolis right now at PCYC off of Broadway. We're at a community forum that's discussing the Upper Harbor Terminal redevelopment. It's the largest riverfront redevelopment project left in Minneapolis. It's on the north side, facing Northeast Minneapolis, and it's causing a lot of controversy in the community. There's a lot of competing ideas. There's a lot of potential for gentrification in the plan. And we're a part of the coalition that's coming together to try to slow down the process and push it back to community before it gets approved by the city council.
Currently, the concept plan that the city of Minneapolis is attempting to pass does not incorporate co-creation, which to us is really a community led a seat at the development table. It's happened on the south side, where I live on the south side of Minneapolis. I've seen it happen there with projects there, including the light rail. We've seen it happen with the stadiums that have popped up like they're mushrooms. And eventually, I think the idea is that they're going to try to displace all the low-income communities of color out of Minneapolis, move them out to the suburbs, and we'll look more like Paris than Minneapolis. And so just don't want that to happen.
Man, today It was contentious, you know. I think that's a part of why we want to slow it down is because people have big feelings about their neighborhoods. People have been experiencing oppression. People have big ideas, and this is the first time a lot of people are made aware of a project that's supposed to get passed on Tuesday.
Again, to build toward Tuesday's vote, they're going to be voting on the concept plan on Tuesday.
Brought into our community that's not representative of our goals and of what we desire in our community, and we just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Okay? Sure. Anybody want to go?
Were you aware of that? Were you aware of that?
Oh, I'm definitely aware of it. I mean, it's hard to ignore, obviously.
Here right now on the third floor of the Minneapolis City Hall, same building as the jail. That's where the big decisions get made. We're rallying before a 1:30 meeting of the City Council, a subcommittee that's going to vote to most likely approve the concept plan of the Upper Harbor Terminal. That's some folks addressing the development team directly here.
What's going on right there?
Yes, it's a group of folks who are taking the time to speak directly to the development team, to First Avenue, to United Properties, to folks who are really subverting democracy and trying to push this process through. A lot of times we don't get to interact directly, so I figured why wait for City Council? We can talk to folks right now. But it's representatives of the development team. So the development team is First Avenue, United Properties, which is huge. United Properties is owned by the Polat family, owners of the Minnesota Twins, owners of the Go Media Properties. Those are two Minnesota power elite white businesses that are slated to get millions and millions of public subsidies on this project. So the folks sitting that you can't see represent that development team, and the folks standing represent a broad coalition of community members who have been organizing to try to change up this process and take advantage of this opportunity to actually develop in a way that benefits the North Side. What responsibility does the park board have to make sure that that process is democratic and that people have a say in what happens to that land, and that if there's going to be investments made and that land is going to be used one way or the other, it should be used in a way that builds up wealth, and it should be Native people and Black people and Hmong people and working class people from the North Side, like really immersed in the process.
What do you hope happens here today?
What I hope happens today is that the City Council votes to delay the process and to push it back for further community engagement. That would be ideal. If I'm being honest, I don't expect that to happen. I think what's going to happen is the plan will most likely be passed with some piecemeal amendments that don't actually address the concerns that have been raised by community. Yeah, this is usually the way development goes. You know, well, the thing is, usually when these developments happen, in my experience, when big pieces of land and public money are handed over, we don't even get this level of involvement because this is like already a historic effort by community to get engaged in this process. Usually it happens with people not even really knowing, you know.
History repeat itself. I mean, you have the power right now. You, as a white woman, as an owner of First Avenue, yes, you do. You have so much power. No, I don't think that. I know that. I know that. I know you have a lot of power. You can say, I would like to delay this vote on behalf of the community, and you will be way more believable than you are right now.
Yep. Instead, you're running a PR campaign, which is an inch deep, asking the music community to vote in favor of a live music venue. Not saying that it's going to cost taxpayers $20 million for a privately operated music venue. Not saying that it will be completely surrounded by public land. Not telling the impact that this could have in terms of the displacement of communities. You're trying to get people that don't even live in these neighborhoods.
In favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. Seeing no further business before us, we stand adjourned.
We're not going to stop after today. This vote means something, but there'll still be opportunities for us to mobilize and try to stop the process. So we're going to have to reassess after today. So the follow-up now is like, okay, if you're investing into public land in that way in these neighborhoods where you already know that the rent is going up in downtown, the real estate market is putting pressure on South Minneapolis. So how does that play into that? How does that new investment make sure that the people who worked for it and got it get to stay in that neighborhood and appreciate it? People don't need police. People need healthcare. People need peace though. People don't need these prisons, need these poisons. We don't gotta keep those. Yo, what's up? It's GP Jacob. I'm here with Starin at the City, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Join us, tune the Antenna Tuesdays in March at the 331. Good music, me and my brother Scoundrel Spence, a lot of guests, pro people, politics, good drinks, Northeast Minneapolis.